Cleveland Cavaliers recently have made a sneaky good move. After playing with the Cleveland Charge last year and showing a great skill set at the point guard position and performing well in this year's Summer League, the Cleveland Cavaliers have signed a contract with Darius Brown III to an exhibition deal, an exhibition 10 deal that will allow him to play in this year's training camp and also maybe have a chance on the G League, probably on the G League again this year, with hopes of making a appearance on the Cleveland Cavaliers main roster this year. Matt Palange with Cavs Digest here. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this lovely Saturday. I hope everyone had a great week, and I hope everyone has a great weekend ahead. Before we dive into Darius Brown II, I think I said the third, but it's Darius Brown II. I believe, before we get into that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, like this video, because just under 72% of you are not subscribed, and that's a lot of people that are missing out on the ability to stay updated with everything, all things Cavaliers. So go ahead and subscribe, because that's what me and Darius are here to do, push out as many great videos as we can for you guys to keep you guys updated with the Cavaliers off season. Because a lot of stuff's happened recently. Killian Hayes, Thomas Bryant, Darius Brown, a couple other G League guys, Travis Anaruna, Omir, so Norshad Omir. So stay updated with us here at Cavs Digest. Let's dive into this signing. Join our team today as well. So let's dive into our signing. Here it is. The Cavs are signing Darius Brown II. I believe it's the second. Let me make it bigger. Yes, Darius Brown II per Chris Fedor, excuse me. Brown played with the Cleveland Charge last season, averaging 7.7 points, 5.2 assists, and 1.9 steals. So, as we continue this video, we're going to break down the ins and outs of what Exhibition 10 or an Exhibit 10 deal is, who Darius Brown is, and kind of what this deal entails, if he has a chance at playing on the roster, who I'd compare him to in the NBA, and that's what we're going to dive into. I'm going to show you guys, I showed you guys some of his highlights early in the video, so you guys have that to work with, but overall, that is what today's video is going to be on, so make sure to stay for the whole thing so you can learn about the deal and about Darius Brown. So, this is per Chris Fedor, but of course, it was official by the Cleveland Charge as well. This isn't just a rumor by Fedor. The Cleveland Charge also posted on their personal social media platforms that they signed Darius Brown, who they actually liked a lot last year in the G League. I'm going to go into his G League stats. You see him right here. I'm going to kind of dive into them a little bit more and what his skill set has to offer. But you saw it in the highlights. He's mainly known for his passing ability and his shot creating ability. He's able to shoot from anywhere on the court, but he's also able to use his scoring ability to set up his teammates. He's a great passer. I love the way Darius Brown plays. And the reason I call this a sneaky good move is because we care about the G League here, and G League development matters so much for the NBA. Let's talk about some players like Craig Porter Jr., who you guys talk about all the time as someone who's probably going to play in the G League, who probably got to get G League reps in order to develop. And that's what Darius Brown is going to be as well. Jalen Tyson's probably going to get some minutes there. Naquan Tomlin's probably going to get some minutes there. And if you guys think about, so Darius Brown actually played in at Utah State, and that is where Sam Merrill also played. And if you guys know Sam Merrill, he didn't get a chance in the NBA until he was like, 27, 28, something like that, 26. So he didn't really get a chance either to play, to do anything after being undrafted. So seeing guys like Darius Brown develop, I'm not saying he's 100% just going to be able to be slotted in and be able to be an elite player in the NBA, because he might never make it to the main roster. But seeing a player development in the G League is very, very important to us as fans and to just overall the community of the NBA. So now let's dive more into the details. Per hoopsrumors.com and Chris Fedor, in a follow-up tweet, Fedor clarifies that Cleveland will likely sign Brown after the team's third preseason game against Boston on Sunday, which is tomorrow. Or unless this was tweeted out earlier, but I'm pretty sure that's tomorrow. Brown is expected to be active for next Tuesday's preseason finale versus Detroit, Fedor adds. While the terms of the deals were not disclosed, Brown will almost certainly sign a non-guaranteed training camp contract featuring Exhibit 10 language. Assuming he's waived before that season begins, which is a virtual lock, Brown would be eligible, waived of the main roster, by the way, not the G League roster, which is a virtual lock. Brown would be eligible for a bonus worth up to $85,300 if he spends at least 60 days with the Cavaliers G League affiliate, the Cleveland Charge. So that is kind of the full details of the signing outside of what an Exhibit 10 is. And I hope you guys stayed, because I'm going to dive into the Exhibit 10 details, which I'm sure a lot of you do not know about. So I'm going to dive into what that entails. I hope you guys learned something from this right here. A 1-year non-guaranteed contract for the NBA minimum pay is known as an NBA Exhibit 10 contract, and it is used to sign players to training camp and give them an opportunity to join the team. If the player is waived, they can sign with the team's G League affiliate, which is what Darius Brown did last year, and get a bonus after 60 days. Alternatively, a team can convert the player to a two-way deal prior to the season, like Luke Travers and Naquan Tomlin probably will get just guys that can play on the G League but can also be pulled up. That's what a two-way contract is prior to the season. This agreement gives the team and the player flexibility, which aids in spotting talent and acquiring players for the G League affiliate. So that is now the details of what that is. For what the G League, or what the NBA Exhibit 10 contract is, I hope you guys learned something from that. So now let's kind of just finish off this video, these last 2 minutes, by kind of talking about Darius Brown. So I'm going to replay the intro for you guys, just so you can kind of see his gameplay. We can talk about it while we watch it. So Darius Brown is mainly just someone who is known for his crafty ability at the point guard position. He's very, very fundamental. He'll one dribble pull-ups, drive to the basket, get a layup, stop and pops. He's like if you were to draw a point guard without saying like how good they are, but you'd say what they're good at, right? You would probably talk about passing. You'd probably talk about shooting, and you'd probably talk about just pure scoring ability. That's the biggest two things. So the problem is he's 6'2". That's Darius Garland height. That's just shorter than Donovan Mitchell. I showed you his G League stats in the tweet from Sleeper Cavs, but this is just kind of more into it. He shot like garbage, to be honest, but he is a good passer. He does get steals. He's really good with his hands, and he's also very, very hustle based. He just kind of pushes himself to the max every single game. I liked watching Darius Brown in the G League last year. The Summer League, I didn't really care because I wasn't really impressed by his game at all. But the reason I say it's a sneaky good move is simply because of the fact that anyone that is on a G League roster that can be brought back, the fact that Darius Brown is likely going to be brought back to the G League says a lot about how the Cavaliers feel about him, because you see some guys that they're not really just brought back. Like even Emoni Bates, they let Emoni Bates go for a reason. They were not impressed with Emoni Bates at all. They clearly like Darius Brown enough to bring him back and allow him to continue playing with the Cleveland Cavaliers G League. So they like him enough to give him a chance. I would compare him to a guy like Emmanuel Quickley, Raptors Legends. Shout out Raptors Digest. Just because, mainly they're the same height, but Quickley is just able to create a shot, able to pass, and he's also not like, I didn't want to compare him to an elite point guard like Dame or something, because he actually plays a lot like Dame in a way, but I didn't want to compare him to a guy like Dame. I'd rather compare him to a good player like Quickley, not an elite player like Dame. That's what I would say for him. Overall, I do not know if Darius Brown will ever make the main roster, but I do like the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers trust this guy enough to bring him to the G League. I think that this is a sneaky good move for development in the Cavs system. So thank you guys so much for joining me here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below about Darius Brown II. I'm always willing to listen to what you guys have to say about me, about Darius Brown, about the Cleveland Cavaliers, your thoughts on the videos, your thoughts on anything we talk about. And as always, like this video, share this video with your friends, comment below your thoughts. I'm Matt Palange. Thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.